In the early 1960s, the United States government cordoned off thousands of square miles in the Nevada desert. While official reports cited conventional aircraft testing, the sheer scale of the restricted zones suggested a perimeter designed to hide something far larger than a few experimental jets buried beneath the sand. During these same years, American military technology began to advance at a rate that defied historical precedent. This is a view of the rapid shift in hardware. In less than 2 decades, we moved from the fragile glass vacuum tubes of the 1940s to the solid-state integrated circuit. This leap into microprocessing and stealth aerospace appeared in the military record without the long, documented trail of incremental failures typical of human invention. If a 19th century clockmaker suddenly produced a digital watch, the world would look for a source beyond his own workshop. The timeline suggests the blueprints were acquired, not developed. Many researchers now suggest that the military didn't seize the desert to build a testing ground. They seized it because they found a way to work with the entities who had already arrived. Charles Hall was a 21-year-old Air Force weather observer when he was sent to Range 4 near Indian Springs. His official duties were remarkably low-tech, launching weather balloons, tracking wind speeds, and logging atmospheric data in the quiet of the Nevada basins. Though stationed out of Nellis Air Force Base, his actual post was a remote weather shack located at the edge of the military's most secretive installations, miles from his nearest human colleagues. Hall soon encountered unusual military protocols. Whenever glowing, silent lights appeared in the night sky, his command ordered immediate and total radio silence. He was forbidden from asking questions or reporting these sightings in his official weather logs. The isolation revealed physical evidence in the sand. Hall reported finding narrow, elongated footprints near his trailers, tracks far larger than any human boot, spaced with a mechanical precision that no desert animal could replicate. The Air Force had placed Hall in a classified contact zone, protected by the threat of deadly force, and left him there to perform his mundane tasks as a front for a reality he wasn't cleared to know. The distant lights eventually moved toward the weather shack. Hall realized he was no longer alone in the desert. He was being observed by a physical, tangible presence that moved through the darkness with total confidence. These were the tall whites. Standing 7 to 8 feet tall with chalk-white skin and thin platinum hair, they resembled humans but appeared far more fragile and elegant. Their movement was silent. Rather than walking, they glided inches above the ground, using localized fields woven into their luminous suits, allowing them to traverse the sand and rock without a sound. Communication happened electronically. The tall whites bypassed the ears entirely, using their technology to place thoughts directly into the conscious part of a human observer's mind. For Hall, the experience was an unfiltered neurological intrusion. He could converse with them from inside his own head, a process he attributed to advanced devices that could read a person's electrical rhythm. Isolated in the Nevada night, Hall was forced to coexist with a species whose technology and biology left him without any means of defense or privacy. Despite their power, Hall observed that the tall whites weren't interested in seizing human territory or influencing the politics of the surface. Their interest was focused on the northern end of Indian Springs Valley. Beneath the dry lake bed of Dogbone Lake, they maintained an underground complex housing hangars large enough for their shining, egg-shaped craft. Hall concluded the base was an interstellar waystation, a secure stopover where deep space vessels could land, refuel, and undergo maintenance during journeys that span tens of light years. This barren landscape provided the perfect cloak. From the air, the valley looked like 1,000 other miles of Nevada desert, masking the logistical center that operated flawlessly just beneath the rock. To these travelers, Earth was not a destination, it was a port, a quiet, strategically placed hub in a network that treated our planet as a mere stop between the stars. The evidence suggests the U.S. military was not just aware of the base, they were actively securing it. Hall realized his own branch of the service was acting as a security detail for the entities living at Dogbone Lake. This cooperation implies an agreement reached within the national security apparatus. Records from the 1950s and 60s point to a quiet, high-level pact that traded earthly resources and secrecy for access to off-world knowledge. According to accounts from Hall and other whistleblowers like Colonel Philip Corso, the trade-off was clear. In exchange for a secure harbor, the military received artifacts and data that could be reverse-engineered to create the foundations of stealth tech and fiber optics. Hall's presence was the final piece of the experiment. He was used to gauge human stress levels during contact, acting as a barometer to see if the general population could eventually handle the reality of this presence. By facilitating this base, the shadow government secured the electronic superiority needed to win the Cold War, but they did so by trading away the sovereignty of the Nevada desert. This trade-off suggests that the tools we use every day, from the microchips in our pockets to the advanced materials in our aircraft, may have origins that aren't human. We built this neon skyline on a foundation of rapid progress, ignoring the possibility that our most important achievements were seeded by travelers who needed nothing more from us than a place to land. If the foundation of our modern age was acquired in a desert exchange, it forces us to reconsider whether human ingenuity is actually responsible for the world we live in. Join Zero Logic to examine the hidden systems and classified truths behind our history. Subscribe for more in-depth documentaries. Because if the accounts from the Nevada desert are true, we are currently building our future on the back of someone else's technology.